The boomer effect. They are 78 million strong and control 70% of America's wealth. Find out which sectors and industries will be booming over the next 15 years.
When we come back, the boomer effect. They are 78 million strong. They control 70% of America's wealth. Find out which sectors and industries will be booming over the next 15 years. Squawk Box will be right back. Today, we're kicking off a new series here on Squawk that we're calling Baby Boomer Effect. A baby boomer is someone born in the years after World War II, between the years 1946 and 1964. Nearly one-third of the U.S. population qualifies as a baby boomer. They control 70% of America's wealth. 10,000 baby boomers turn 65 every day, and that will continue every day for the next 15 years. With such a large portion of our population getting older, we're taking a look at the explosion expected in different parts of the economy as a result. Joining us right now to kick off our series is Ken Dychtwald. He is the president, founder, and CEO of AgeWave. Ken has been studying this topic for more than 35 years. He's the author of 16 books on this subject, and more than half of the Fortune 500 companies are his clients. Ken, thanks so much for joining us today.
Great to be with you. Good morning.
So we hear those numbers about retirement, and it starts to make you wonder on a couple of things. What resources do the baby boomers need to retire? And then again, what companies can benefit by catering to this group that has 70% of America's wealth?
Right, and let me set up a slightly different portrait than your viewers may be thinking about. First, as you said, this is a very unusual generation, came along during this very heady period after World War II ended. 92% of all women who could have kids did, but had just under 4 kids each. So that was a lot of children. So every day, every 8 seconds, 10,000 a day, 4 million a year, babies became the lifeblood of America. But now, as you said, those same boomers are starting to turn 65. The point of it at the same time, though, is that we're living longer and longer and longer. This generation came along at the same time as the longevity revolution. So frankly, living to 60 or 65 or 70 is really not that much of a deal anymore. Boomers are thinking they might live 80 or 90 or maybe even 100 years, which leaves plenty of time for second chances and reinvention and new careers and even entrepreneurialism at 65. I don't think anybody's going to tell Bruce Springsteen he ought to get off the stage because he's 64, or that Anna Wintour should hand over, the reins of the fashion industry to Kelly Osbourne just because she turned 65. And frankly, in the money side of things, here's Warren Buffett at 83, and I don't see anybody forcing him into the Mahjong program. So what's happening is the boomers are plentiful, they're living longer, and they're reinventing themselves again and again and again. But because of their sheer numbers and their kind of lively attitude, they're going to explode a number of industries, as you've said. And if you like, I can tell you which ones I think are the ones that are going to light up.
What's at the top of the list?
Well, let me mention 4. First of all, anything having to do with the body. There's the age we'd like to feel, and there's the age we're going to feel. There's the youthfulness we wish we had, but then there's the debility that's going to be setting in. So anything that has to do with causing the body to feel and function better. Now, that's a wide spectrum, Becky. That could be everything from new stem cell technologies, that could be pharmaceuticals, that could be medical devices. Frankly, at the end of life, it could also be home-based care. It could also be, because the boomers like alternative things, it could be anti-aging spas, it could be vitamin supplements, it could be lasers to eliminate wrinkles from the body or sunspots.
So it's not just feeling, Ken, it's because you can feel young if you look a little younger. So this whole Allergan, you wonder why Valiant wants Allergan so much. I mean, Botox, that really put them on the map, didn't it?
Yeah, Botox has had many, many thousands % growth over the last several years, and it does not look like it's going to go away because there's going to be miles and miles of wrinkles coming, and people are going to try to figure out how to take them down a bit.
Yep.
No, my over-the-counter skin cream I found was Valiant. I realized that the other day. It was a Valiant product.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be skin creams were about pimples and acne. When the boomers came along, Clearasil did quite well for investor Ivan Combe. What's going to happen when all of us have got thousands of different kinds of physical issues that we wish we could get rid of? The second big zone is going to be leisure time, and that's because due to the dual liberations of empty nesting and then either partial or full retirement, you're going to see the greatest amount of free time in the history of the world with people who are looking for an adventure or a good time or a chance to learn something. So that's going to benefit the travel industry, leisure, hobbies, volunteerism, adult education, pornographic websites, going back to school, books, learning, anything that has to do with helping this highly educated, high-spirited generation fill its free time is going to be another category of predictable growth. Third, You're going to see financial services in a couple of ways. You're going to see, first of all, is about $20 trillion worth of inheritance wealth about to get set in motion. And a lot of people are going to try to get their hands on that. And it won't be distributed evenly. About 90% of the boomers are going to get about 10% of the boomers are going to get 90% of that wealth. So fortunately or unfortunately, those that have money will probably wind up with yet even more money. But there are tens and tens of millions of boomers that have got a lot of financial catching up to do. So you're going to see all the major financial firms. It's one thing to target 25-year-olds who are lovely and look good and use ATMs and all sorts of cool things,
right,
but they have no money.
Right.
It's the 50 and 60 and 70-year-olds that the financial industry is going to be going after, helping them to shore up their finances, possibly pulling a little bit of equity out of their homes,
sure,
managing their inheritance and their 401ks. It's going to be very big business for the financial industry.
Right.
And the fourth one is housing. Do people need as much house when the kids are out of town? What about a second home? What about moving to a college town? What about relocating onto a cruise ship or moving to Costa Rica? Boomers are going to have lots of choices around housing, far more than our mom's dad, who were simply contemplating whether she or our parents were simply going to live in a retirement community.
Right.
The world of housing is really about to get quite interesting as boomers think about, who do I want to be next, and where would I like to live? Here in the United States, the boomers are, yes, going to be spending time on planes, and they're, yes, going to be spending time at the golf courses, but they're also going to be volunteering, and guess what? The highest rate of entrepreneurial activity in America in the last 10 years was people 55 to 64 years old. So boomers are also going to be starting businesses.
That's awesome.
It turns out that when we think entrepreneur, we usually think, 25-year-old Silicon Valley kid. The 50 and 60 and soon to be 70-year-olds are actually showing the greatest amount of entrepreneurial success and drive than we've ever seen in the history of America.
Great crop.
Ken, thank you. It's great talking to you.
Thanks for having me on. Enjoy the week.